Okay, we're on.
All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming and watching Saturday Night Bang. It's Rogue Nation here with you. I'm here with Eyes on the State and a special guest tonight, Miss Rachel. I don't want to say her last name because, unlike her neighbor, I would murder her name. So, Miss Rachel, she has a story to tell us. We got some feedback
I
there.
fixed it. That
Hi.
was my bad. Hello.
Um,
How is everyone?
So we got Miss Rachel here, and she's going to introduce herself, and she has a story to tell us. She's from Buffalo, and I ran across the story on one of my Facebook groups, North American Patriot group, and again, it's just another example, I think, of our public servants not really serving the people, and serving her neighbor who seems to be connected somehow to some people in government and running for government herself. Isn't that right, Rachel? She's running for the school board.
Yes, she did run for the school board. It has been brought to my attention that she did not win. Um,
Thank God.
yeah, because I couldn't see some woman like this being associated with children. I mean, she's done some pretty vile things. My 5-year-old daughter is scared to even live in our home anymore.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, I saw you
Um,
say. Now, I also went and I checked out her Facebook page. I was able to find her Carolette Pumpkin Meadows, and I saw some of her videos, and she does seem maybe a little bit irrational there. I mean, the videos weren't about you; they were about, I think, some of the protests and stuff that were going on there. But she did have some photos there of some screenshots she took of some of your Facebook posts. I don't know if you've seen those. She had a
yes,
screenshot of your
I
furnace. Can you tell us a little bit
yes.
about the furnace picture? It looks like it's inside your home. The pipe is.
Yes. So that is actually what started all of this. I had just purchased my home in December, and in March, I had to get a new furnace. And I did end up getting a high efficiency furnace. So I guess there's exhaust pipes that have to go outside so that the home ventilates properly. Um, when I had my furnace installed, when I got home from work, she came over up to my car and she was pounding her fist in her hand, telling me I need to call my HVAC guy and to come have my pipes relocated. And I wasn't sure what she was talking about, so I told her I don't know what you're talking about. I just replaced a furnace. And so she said, "No, you decided to upgrade to a high efficiency furnace and now your pipes are on my property." So at that point, I didn't understand what she was talking about, and she was being very abrasive. So after a few minutes, I had asked her to just leave my property, and she wouldn't leave. I had to ask her 5 times. After the fifth time, she said, "Fine, if you won't have your HVAC guy come back and move the pipes, I'll take care of it." So she walks over to the north side of my home, and I hear a whirring sound. So I jump out of the car and I run over to that side of my house, and she's cutting off the exhaust pipe to the side of my house. The inside of the furnace was a picture because the furnace guy that came and put my furnace in, he left. He had an emergency, so he left before he was able to put a vent cap on it. And so he did text me that following day and told me that I did have to put the vent cap on. The reason I took the picture is because I couldn't get a hold of him the day prior, the day he actually installed the furnace. And I was asking people to be able to help me what I needed to do if it needed to be capped off or if it was supposed to be like that. Um, so that's one part of the story. After that day, the police came. Well, the police did come. I did call the police. She left before the police had got to the scene. They did do a report. And then the following day, she came pounding on my door and she told me to come outside because she was going to beat me up like she did the neighbor to the south of me. And it comes to find out that in 2017, she did beat her up. She broke her ribs. I ended up going to get a yard stake, and I put yard stakes in my yard with her name on it, as well as private property, no trespassing, and to keep out. And this was back in March. March 28th was the first incident. Ever since then, you have seen the videos on YouTube, on Facebook. This is what I have been dealing with ever since then. Where the city inspectors come in and where the Buffalo police come in is the day that she had cut the exhaust pipe off to my home. I tried to go make the repairs to the house, but she has, I guess it's called a chain link fence going across both properties. That the post that she has the fence on was on my property. So I was trying to take it down so that I can go back and fix the pipe because she would not let me behind the gate. She kept pushing me off the property every time I went back there. And the police have been here several times over it. The first time the police were here, she told the police that that was her property and that I'm not allowed back there to make the repairs. The police, I explained to the police that according to my survey, I do own land on that side of the building and that I do have a right to go make repairs to my property. They ended up asking me what the emergency was or how imperative it was to fix the pipe. And I explained to them the HVAC guy told me that it was important because it ventilates my house. Eventually, the cops ended up leaving and telling me I can't go back there to fix the house. So later that day, I decided to take the fence down. I just decided to take the gate down since it was on my property so that I can go back there and fix it. The cops came again. And the cops told me that I could not take the gate down and that if I didn't put it back up, that they were going to arrest me. That's one of the videos that I do have on Facebook. And I did tell the officer that it was my property and that I had repairs to make. And she said, I don't care. She was like, you're to put this fence back up right now. If we have to come back, she basically, she said somebody's going to get arrested. And she was talking about me. We had finally got the city inspectors involved.
Captain.
I'm sorry.
Was that the blonde lady, the blonde officer that said that she would arrest?
Yes, Officer Kurtziel.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We finally got the city inspectors involved. Okay. The city inspectors came out a few days later, and the purpose of them coming out is because the police said that they wanted to verify that I did own land over there before they gave me the okay to go fix my pipe. So the city inspectors came out. It was a chief inspector and one of his employees, and they did read my survey, and they did find that I do own land on the north side of my home, as well as the post that her fence was on crossed the property line by 2 feet, and it was on my property. However, when the city inspectors called A District Police to advise them that it was my property, they also told them that I'm not to remove the gate down, the post off of my house, or I was going to get arrested. And so, but I don't understand how he could do that because there's no court order saying that I can't remove something off of my own property. And he didn't have that jurisdiction to tell me that I couldn't take that down. They said this in front of the neighbor. So now the neighbor, anytime I was trying to get back there, she was like, oh, the city inspectors told you can't come back here. You can only come in and fix the pipe and you're not allowed back here again. And you can't touch my gate. So it caused a really big problem because then anytime I was trying to do anything, she kept attacking me for it. The city inspectors, my dad then got involved, and my dad emailed them and asked them for something in writing, a lawful order stating that I could not take the gate down, and they would not provide one. We asked 5 times. We've also asked them to contact the A District Police and recant their statement and advise them that that was my property and that if I had to take it down, then I could take it down. They didn't do that. And basically, every time the cops have been here, it's all been they tell me they're not going to take a report because nothing's damaged. Like when she was pounding on my house, they said they're not going to take a report because nothing was damaged. There was a stockade fence in the backyard that she had came over and stole out of my yard. the morning of the attack, I had the police at her house to go get the fence. The cop was intimidating me, putting his hand on his gun, saying that the fence had fell down, the wind blew it down, and she picked it up and put it on her property. She didn't steal it. And he was like, it's only 2 feet away from where it was standing. He was like, there's no theft here. You can see that clearly, right? And at that time, I didn't want to argue with him because we were already 2 months into the police being here at least maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So the officer they brought the fence back over to my house, but he wouldn't take a report. They only filed an incident for it. He said there was no theft and no possession of stolen property. But luckily I took a picture of the fence from my upstairs window before the police got here. And you can see that the fence was about 10 feet away from my property. So it didn't just blow down and she picked it up, because if that's the case, why did she take it to her home instead of putting it back on my property? Then later that evening is when the police were here that morning. They brought the fence back over to me and they laid it down in my grass. Later that evening, I was in the kitchen and I noticed that the fence was standing up behind my shed. And I heard the same whirring sound that I heard when she had cut the exhaust pipe off to my house. So I had ran outside. I shoved the gate to the ground and I told her to get off my property. At that point, she chased me with a Sawzall from the backyard to my driveway, where I ended up being trapped in the driveway because there's a conversion van that's parked in between my house and my neighbor's house, so I couldn't get out. So she chased me. She told me she's going to kill me. At that point, I did end up hitting her in the side of the head, and she then grabbed me by my hair, yanked my head down, bit me in the side of the neck, and latched on and wouldn't let go. A neighbor that resides behind me ended up coming to break up the fight. And then my son called the police. My son called 911. He advised 911 that she was chasing me with a saw, an electric saw. And my other neighbor had called the police and advised the police that we needed assistance. When the police got to my house, she ran out to the police first and said that she said that I had attacked her and that she wanted me arrested, which I didn't find this out until the next day, that she said I attacked her, because I found out from her Facebook page. And I was wondering why, when the police were there, the police told me that if I wanted to press charges against her, that they were going to allow her to press charges against me. And I kept telling the police, I'm like, but I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know why I would get charged with anything. I said I was protecting myself and protecting my property, and I have witnesses. Two of the witnesses were minors. My son is only 15 and my neighbor's 16, but her mom was outside, and her mom told the police that they gave her permission to speak to her, and the police said, no, they're not taking a statement from her. The neighbor that broke up the fight was telling the police what he saw, and they said that they weren't going to take his statement because he didn't see what happened before she started chasing me with the saw. So I ended up getting charged with assault. She ended up getting charged with trespassing and harassment. I believe it's aggravated with this most recent incident. But I have literally been doing everything the lawful way. I've tried to get assistance from the police. They have not helped me at all. When the furnace thing originally happened, a detective told me that she was going to file endangering the welfare of children. And then 2 days later, she said her supervisor told her that they cannot file those charges because they don't know the intent of my neighbor. But that's not how that works. Intent is defined by a jury. And I took the liberty of looking up the New York State penal law on endangering the welfare of a child. And it says that any individual who knowingly acts in a manner that's likely to cause harm to the mental, moral, or physical welfare of a child is charged with endangering the welfare of a child. It comes to find out this woman knows an Erie County legislator. And it comes to find out that this woman has filed multiple civil lawsuits against the police in the past. So the only thing that I can assume is that they don't want to deal with her, that they just basically let her do what she wants to do because they don't want to catch another lawsuit. That's the only thing that I can think of, that they're not doing their job, that they are allowing stuff like this to happen. And they've been here plenty of times.
Also, I remember you saying that the officers that came to your house, they wouldn't give you their names, and when you called up to talk with the supervisors, they wouldn't give you the names either. Is that right?
Yes. The night of the attack, there was about 10, I want to say there were about 8 to 10 officers altogether, and I'm still in shock. So I'm not thinking about looking at names or badges, anything like that. So a couple days later, I had called down to the station. I spoke with RT Schneider at first. I told her that I wanted the names of the officers that were at my house because I was issuing a notice of non-spoliation on their body cameras. She told me that it's not her responsibility to give me the names of the officers and that I should have looked at their badges. So then I told her I wanted to speak to a lieutenant. She then transferred me to Lieutenant Nigro, and Lieutenant Nigro told me the same thing, that he wasn't going to give me the names of the officers that were at my house. I was able to get 2 names of the officers that were at my house through Carolette's Facebook post. So I did at least mention their names in the non-spoliation notice, but I've had to list everybody else as an unnamed officer.
Have you tried to make any public record requests through their records department for any of that information?
When I sent them the first notice of non-spoliation back in March, they sent it back to me and told me I had to send it to Buffalo PD FOIL request. So I did send it to the FOIL request, but that's not, I don't believe that's something that can be foiled. I don't believe body camera data is public information.
Yes, it should be. New York's a little bit different than Florida. I know that, but let me look at the New York laws and let me see. But it should still be public record up there.
Yeah, we're going to try to pull all those records for you.
Yeah.
We got some basic information like the time of the incident, the location of the incident. Obviously, we know your name, you're involved in the incident. So we'll try to call from down here and request those records and see if we can get them for you.
I might be able to get a hold of somebody up there too. That's my old stomping grounds, kind of up in that old neck of the woods. So I'm kind of familiar with some of the New York State laws and stuff up there.
I have also contacted Internal Affairs because I have been trying to get a hold of either a captain or a lieutenant to find out why, when the police are here, that they're not filing charges. And I had an advocate with the Erie County District Attorney's Office prior to the incident who was trying to get me a temporary restraining order. And she told me what I was supposed to do was anytime something happened to call the police. And I told her I've been doing that. I told her that they won't file any reports. They'll just give me incident numbers and said that there will be an incident on file. So she told me, no, you have to call their supervisor and demand that charges are filed. So I tried to do that probably on 5 separate occasions. They would not return any of my phone calls. So I finally called Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs told me that they were going to notify the chief of police, which is Chief Joyce, that I wanted to speak to him directly. And that's been 2 weeks now. I still have not received a call from him. I have personally called him requesting a call back 2 times. I have not received a call back. So it's like, I'm trying to do everything I can do as a citizen. I've done everything legally, everything lawful. I've done nothing unlawful. That's why I've had no reports or charges filed against me up until the day of the attack. And it's like, I've done everything I can, and you guys aren't helping me. And now you're charging me because I had to defend myself on my own property, and I got charged for that. And they know that it's been an ongoing, constant issue. And I have videos of literally everything that's going on, and they won't do anything about it.
Yeah, no, and the Internal Affairs too, it's just gonna brush over what the other officers have done and say, well, that's policy, or, whatever have you not. I mean, even with requesting public records, sometimes they could easily say, well, we lost the body cam footage, or, they weren't recording body cam footage. I've heard that before.
Mhm.
There's all kinds of excuses why these people can't do their job. But I mean, unfortunately, that's not how, the law works. And somebody somewhere is going to be able to put that together and hopefully clear this up for you. I mean, I have no problem doing a call to action on my other site, getting people to call and, trying to find out while nothing's being done. I saw the bite mark on your neck, and you're saying all she got charged with was harassment and trespassing.
You want me to show that? I have that pulled up if you want me to show that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, hang on. Let me make it bigger, maybe. Is it going to? No, it just makes that. I wonder why it did it like that. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted it to do. I wanted that. Hang on. No, it's just going
Hi,
to.
Rachel, by the way.
Okay, so
Hi, how
let
are
me
you?
see. I think everybody can see that.
I'm good.
And I have a permanent scar from that.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see it's a bite mark. It's right there on your neck.
Yeah, there's a tooth there,
Wow.
a tooth there, a tooth there, another tooth right there, another tooth right there. It's pretty plain
Yeah.
and clear that's what it is.
That's definitely a battery. I mean, at the
Okay.
very least.
Yeah, and they didn't charge her with anything.
Okay, so now some of the people in the comments are looking for video of this now. I have your channel up. Is there anyone in particular that you would like me to show to start with, or what would you like me to pull up? Because I can pull one of these videos up so
The
everybody can
pounding-
see.
I think she's only got like 6 videos on there that I saw, but she has more. I just think maybe they're unlisted, and she gave links in the group to them.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. I see.
Okay, so there's more than I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull up the list?
I see city officials, part 1, 2, and 3. I see Officer Dixon with the abuse of power. Another unnamed officer. The neighbor lying to the police. Neighbor trespassing to tape paper towels. The menacing, more harassment. The cutting. I saw the sawzall of her cutting pipes off the side of your front porch. The one where she was flipping somebody off too.
My son, my 15-year-old.
That's your okay. That's your son that she was flipping off, and then another set of cutting on top of that. So, I guess let's go. What do you think with the city officials? That's about 30 minutes, though.
Yeah, the city officials. I'll explain that real quick. They did come out. They finally came out to talk with me because I did start sending them violations of the Unified Development Code as far as the parking space between the houses. I have videos of her backing into my house. She's hitting my exhaust pipe to the house. She's ripped my gutters down. So I told the city, I said, actually, let me back up. I'm sorry. When the city was here for the exhaust pipe the first time back in March, I told them that I wanted to install a fence running vertically down the driveway. This way she can no longer come over to my side of the house and do any damage. And she posted on Facebook that she's been hitting the side of my house for years, which I took a screenshot of it because I'm going to use it for court. So she's already been doing a lot of damage. So I explained to the inspectors that that's what I wanted to do. They told me, no, I could not put a fence up. And if I put one up, they would take it down. Well, comes to find out, the city of Buffalo doesn't require a permit for a fence to be put up. So how could they just tell me I can't do that if it doesn't require a permit? And then how can they tell me that they're going to take it down on me without a court order? So then the second time they came out, this is when I was addressing with them, look, if you guys unlawfully told me I can't take a fence off of my property, which caused this woman to attack me. You then told me I can't put a fence up when the whole reason I needed a fence is so that she's not coming over to my property doing any further damage. So she's not harassing me and my children. You told me I can't do that. And now look at what happened. Now she went in my backyard from the driveway and she attacked me and tried to kill me. Eventually, the city inspectors agreed that they should have never told me that I couldn't take the post down. He said they had no purview in their in their jurisdiction to be able to order that. And then they also and one of them told the neighbor that that is my property. If I'm doing work on my property, she can't attack me. She can't bother me. But they didn't say this to her until what, 2 months later. If they would have relayed this to her 2 months ago, I probably would have never been attacked like that, because she would have known from somebody in a position of power that this is my property, that you cannot just come over and do what you want to do on my property. That's why the video is so long, because they were there for a while. We were discussing the attack. We were discussing the space between the houses, the fact that there was no permit pulled for a driveway to be there, the fact that she's ripping stuff off my house. Actually, she has now also poked a hole into my siding, which I'm going to take a picture of because we are going to go to court. So I do want her liable for the damages that she's causing to my house.
Now, Eyes on the State, I sent you 2 links. I sent you a link to her channel, and then I sent you a link to a video that I didn't see on her channel.
That was the one that was intimidating. I think which one is, okay, so you want to go with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the morning of the attack. This is the first time they come out, right?
Is in the process of trying to get me
Yes.
a restraining order. They said anytime something happens, to call the police.
So what's going on today? I've never been here before, so I know you're upset. Just hands off me and talk to me.
2 days ago, I had the police here. I installed a side camera on my house. This woman's fence. She cut my exhaust
How old
pipe
is
off.
she?
She's 50.
Okay.
50. She cut
Hey,
my
go inside. I'm talking to your mom, okay?
She cut my exhaust pipe off my house. I did.
Did you do a report?
I did. We got a warrant.
So what happened today?
Today, I go upstairs to get my daughter ready to come outside. And I look out her window, and the fence that I just put up, because it fell down 2 days ago, it was back cleaning up, so I got my lawnmower guy to come in. My fence, yeah, so I put it back up.
Okay.
I look out my window today, the fence is gone. I look over to the left, it's sitting by her garage.
Did it blow over again, or no?
No, it's sitting, 2 nights ago, I had the police here, and she had a tarp up back there. And they were asking her what she was doing back there, and she wouldn't let them back there, and obviously that's what she was doing back there. She stole my fence. And I just put back up 2 days ago because it fell down.
Okay, where did it fall? Can you tell me where it fell?
It's in the back.
Did you got the fence back?
No, it's still, I didn't go on the
Show me
property.
the back. Show me in the back what's going on. I don't know anything about this.
Stay in the house. Get in the house. I do.
Where's the camera? Yeah, but I'm not here tonight. I'm only for here today. So we don't know if, I get it. So I'm going to do a report for you, but show me what happened first.
I took a picture of it. Let me grab your phone. I don't think it's my fence.
I just want to get back and see what's going on here.
Oh, you can go back this way.
So, is that your yard or her yard?
I have property over here.
Show me that.
This fence right here.
Now that's the side your neighbor lives on, right? That's your neighbor's porch right over there.
Yes, to the right.
Okay. Now, that driveway right there, is that your driveway or her driveway?
Now that's what the problem has been. That's not an official driveway through the city. There's never been a permit. So she installed, and in the city inspectors advised her, when she installed this driveway, she installed it over my property line. This all started because she's claiming that she had easement rights to that side of the house, which nothing's on my title. My title was clear. Um, there's no adverse possession. There's no easement laws. So this all started basically earlier when I said that I had the furnace installed, and she said the pipe was on her property. The reason she said that is because she thinks that when she put this concrete down, that since she put it all the way up to the side of my house, that she owns all the airspace and all the space directly up to my house. But she doesn't, and the city inspectors did verify that.
I would bet the property line probably splits right at the center of that concrete right there. I would bet
It's
somewhere
2
right
feet
close
over.
to there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so she just went ahead and installed her own driveway there and said, "Hey, I put this here,
It's
so
mine."
everything's mine."
Yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah, and like I said, there was never any easement in New York State. An easement is required to be recorded on your title, and like I said, there was nothing on my title stating that there was any easements, any adverse possession. I wasn't notified by the seller of the home that there was any agreement as far as any easements over there.
Have you
I've
tried to
done.
pull the records of her home yet?
She finally provided a survey, and her survey even says that I own space over there.
Oh,
And she's been lying to the police the whole time. She was supposed to back in March, when I was trying to give my survey to the police to show them that I was allowed back there to go fix my pipe. I told them I have a survey, and she says, well, I got one too. And she said, they don't match. I said, okay, well, go get your survey and we can look at them and find out what's going on. And so she's like, no, I'm not even doing that. And I'm like, okay, that's because you don't have one. I have one right here that can prove, and I just had it done 3 months ago. So it's not like it was outdated or anything. Like I said, I just bought the house in December. Also,
Okay.
my title.
Go ahead.
My title paperwork stated that post was on my property, which the police wouldn't take that either.
So there's been an ongoing issue. Can you come over here? I'll get the numbers.
This officer here told me he was going to take a report, and he never ended up filing a report. He's the one that was in the back. While we were in the back, he was telling me that it's no theft. There was no possession of stolen property. And he was like, you can see that, right? While he had his hand on his gun. So he's showing authority and basically telling me this is what you're going to say happened. He said the fence blew down and she picked it up for you. That's not even what happened. It's impossible for that fence to blow down into her driveway because there was a tree. It was like leaning up against a post in a tree. So there was no way the fence would be able to fall with that tree there. She literally had to have picking it up and taken it 10 feet over to her garage. And the police were like, no, it's only 2 feet away. You can see that clearly, right? That's what happened, right? And then comes to find out he didn't file a report. He didn't charge her with theft. He didn't charge her with possession of stolen property. It was just an incident in the records that the police were here that morning.
Now, is that her on the sidewalk there?
yeah, that's her.
Yes.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You said that you didn't get those officers' names, did you?
Not these ones either. And I tried to call for them and they wouldn't give them to me either.
Okay. Do you know if they were wearing body cameras?
I'm not sure, but I did note in my spoliation that I basically had to write a timeline of how many times the police were here. And I do have a record of the dates and times. So I put the dates and times and I just named them as unnamed officers.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Even, sometimes they won't give you any information, But if you can get a number off the car, because usually those are, somebody's car. They don't like switching cars a lot. So a car number is an easy identifier to who that officer might be as well. But they should always have, at least dispatch should know what calls, what cars went to what calls on the days and the time. So we should still be able to get that. Again, we'll have to look at the public records laws there in New York.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get that, because I'd like to see the body cam footage of all that, and if they do any talking with the next door neighbor lady as well, I'd like to get any of that in there as well. Now, Eyes, we do have on her site. There's one where her neighbor's cutting the pipe.
Yes, there is.
The first one. Let's look at that. So because I did see a couple of her videos, and I wanna show the audience what I saw, and one of it was the lady cutting the pipe there with the sawzall. Okay, there's the lady at the bottom right hand side. I can't see what she's doing right now.
It looks to be that she's got a tape measure and a phone, is what it looks like. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Ooh, an alarm.
I was watching her do it, so I cut the alarm off because I was at work.
Now, what's that alarm about?
I was at work and I was watching her do this on the camera, so I set the alarm off thinking that she would stop.
She didn't.
No, she just went and grabbed the saw. So she ended up sawing some of it off. It doesn't look like she sawed it all the way down to the porch off, though. Did she leave some on there, it looks like?
Yes, she did.
Okay. So she just measured it to where she thought was hers, and then she sawed it off from there.
Actually, I have, when you look in the video, if you're looking towards the front, you see a square that's hanging on my porch. That's a no parking sign. So what I did is I advised her that since she's doing all this damage to my house, so that little square right there, that's a no parking sign.
Yes, in the center.
So I advised her she's not to park back there because she's publicly admitting she's damaging my house and I have it on cameras. So I installed these. I've asked her several times to stop parking back there because I was going to have the property line staked. And when they come out to do the stake, she can't be back there because she's going to get blocked in. Well, she ended up still parking back there. So I tried putting these pipes out that reach out to my property line so that she can't get back there. And this is what she does. She just cuts them off so that she can just end up getting back there anyways.
I see. Okay. Now, one more video, Eyes, is the one where she's doing the cameras with the paper towel.
Okay, let me find that one. Hang on.
And again, I think leave the sound off because I do believe the alarm goes off with this one as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
This one.
And these are at
This
work.
one,
I'm
correct?
at work while she does it.
Yeah. I like the fact that you set off the alarm each time she's
know
over
it.
there messing with your house. That's great.
I
So, I
tried.
mean,
They're motion cameras, so I get a notice every time they go off.
oh, nice, nice. Yeah, we could see there that, I mean, obviously, this lady is, I don't know, I think a little off kilter. You know, she thinks, like you said, she put the concrete there, everything up to your house she owns. She's going to do everything she can to keep it that way. And looks like she's going to try everything she can to keep you from gathering evidence of what she's doing with the cameras. You said there was another video
Yep.
where you took black trash bags over your cameras. Is that right?
Yes, and pounding. She was pounding on the side of my house at 11 o'clock at night. There's another video of that.
Yeah, I think I saw that one as well. It was only like 11 seconds or 30
Mhm.
seconds or something long, but I think that's on there as well. Eyes, can we show that?
Yes.
All right, yeah, so here she is.
This is the day after the police came. The day after she was pounding on the house, the police came and they told her to stop touching my cameras because she was putting paper towels on the floor. And then she did this the next morning.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she has a problem touching things that don't belong to her.
Well, she's trying to cover up her criminal activity of her damaging my house. The only time, like today, she put up something to block my cameras again today. So I'm pretty sure she did something to my house. So I'm gonna check it tomorrow when she leaves because I don't know. I can't with her blocking my cameras. I can't see what she's doing to my house.
You
And
need to
like I
get
said,
them up
she's
higher.
already. Yeah, I'm gonna eventually get regular cameras that are 24 run the 24/7 and get rid of these motion cameras, but I just spent $400 on cameras, so it's
Well,
like now I
take those cameras and move them up higher so that she has to have a ladder to get to them.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like get a step ladder and go up on a step ladder and move them up another 3 or 4 foot in the air so she can't get to them as easy. So she can't cover them up like that.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
she'll have to physically make more, you know, she'll have to go and get a ladder and bring a ladder. And the camera will show her doing that every single time, taking those
Yeah.
extra steps to go that distance to do those things that she's doing. And hey,
Right.
she may not have a ladder, she may not go get one, and she may not be able to put it up there. So then she may not be able to hide it anymore at all either.
Does she
Yeah.
does she have I'm guessing she's got a trespassing warning from your property, right? So anytime she comes on it, she should be able to be arrested for trespassing. So
Yes.
I'm not seeing
She
why.
tried to get
Go ahead.
she tried to get the police, like I said, the day she came over and threatened to beat me up. I staked my yard. I bought a yard stake and I nailed no trespassing, private property, keep out. And then I bought letters and I spelled her name out across it and I staked it right in the yard. And she tried getting the police to get me to remove it. I told them I'm not breaking any laws. It's not unconstitutional. I said this is public notice that this woman is not to be on my property. I said she's already cut my exhaust pipe off and she came over threatening to beat me up. I don't want her here. It's public, so everybody in the community knows she's not welcome here. So that stake's been on my yard. It's still on my yard today, and she's still trespassing.
Yeah, I want to know why the police ain't doing something about this. I mean, and again, why you were charged with assault. Now, do you have a lawyer for that case?
I'm in the process of trying to get a lawyer. I don't want to use a public defender because they're not the best reputation.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to look
but
out for you.
finances. Yeah. So I'm trying. I had to set up a GoFundMe to try to get a lawyer. So hopefully that might help. If not, I'm just gonna bank on all of my documents, my videos, how many times I've called. I have 3 warrant cards. I have about 8 incident numbers. I have all my videos. I have my son as a witness. I have my neighbor in the back as a witness, and I have my neighbor to the other side as a witness. Although they're two of those witnesses are minors, I'm hoping that in a criminal matter, the courts would allow them to testify.
Now, let me ask this too. You said that your neighbor was just involved with another assault the year or two before from the lady in the back. Do you have any charges in the past that are anything like assault?
I have no record whatsoever. I
Okay.
actually have state licensing, and I get I have things through the federal government that I've had to be background checked on for my career. I'm not a criminal. I don't have any record whatsoever.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because I think it's easier to see who's more, I don't want to say able, but who's more likely to have started the altercation. You know, the
Mhm.
lady's got a Zawzaw. To me, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem, probable that you would go up and hit a lady with a Zawzaw. And you know what I
No.
mean? So
Yeah.
obviously, that'll come into play, the common sense there, although you never want to bet on it because common sense is not very common these days.
Yeah.
As you can see
Well,
with your interactions there with the public officials, you would think something as common sense as having a pipe on your property, a fence post, and being able to remove it, that seems common sense. It shouldn't take 15, commissioners and 5 trips from law enforcement to figure something out that's pretty dang simple. Yeah,
since I went public,
go ahead.
since I went public with this, there was another woman. Now, my neighbor told me about this, but you know, when people tell you these crazy stories, they don't really sound believable. My neighbor told me besides the other neighbor beating up this neighbor, she told me that we have this thing called slow roll week, which is like a bicyclist week where people ride their bikes, down the streets. She said that she had tried to run over one of the bicyclists. Well, when I finally came public with my story, that bicyclist was tagged by someone else, and they said, "Isn't this the woman that tried to run you over?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it is." And so she ended up private messaging me the story of what happened. And then somebody else that shared my post had commented, "I used to live across the street from this woman and she's absolutely nuts." So there are people that are at least, coming forward to say, yes, she does do stuff like this. This is common with her.
Right, it's right up her alley.
That's not going to work that way. Sorry, I'm trying to pull your GoFundMe up and get a link and stuff to it now.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll put a link up to the GoFundMe and
Yep, I'm getting
see
that
if
right
we can
now.
help get you some donations to fight,
There,
with
I got
obvious unjust disbursement of justice, I guess you could say, an unjust disbursement of justice. But we find that more and more nowadays where, a lot of times they go on feelings and they go on, like you said, they don't want to be sued by this lady again. She's, connected with some legislatures there in the local county area. So, I guess it's sort of like a risk factor. So they feel they're less likely to be harassed by you than this lady. This lady obviously
Yeah.
harasses them all the time. If she harasses the cops like she harasses you, you almost feel sorry for the cops. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
lady seems like a neighbor from hell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I saw your story. I wanted to share it because It's all too often that we find ourselves without help because when we go to the government for help, the help's not there. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we're left just holding the bag, with no recourse whatsoever. Because where do you go to after the government? There's nowhere else to go.
I I had a video of when I finally took the gate down. An officer came, and as soon as he got here, he asked me if I'm the one that called because I was in my window, and I told him no. I said she called next door, but I'm going to let you know now you have no jurisdiction here. And I explained to him why he had no jurisdiction. It was a civil matter. And in that video, he ended up getting upset with me, telling me I was telling him to do how to do his job. But it's like, for a month and a half, you guys have not done what you're supposed to do. And I've had you here plenty of times and you're not doing your job. So I don't mean to sound rude to tell you that this is a civil matter, but when people are telling this woman that it's not a civil matter, that she could just come trespass on my property, then I'm very upset because now it's causing a lot of issues. That's one of the videos that I have online where I did have to basically stand my ground and tell him, look, that's my property. I bought it. If she has a problem with it, take me to civil court. It's a civil matter. It's not a police matter. And then do you know the police filed a report against me for that? After he told me on video he wasn't going to charge me, later that day he decided to file something against me, and the police won't tell me what. They keep telling me I have to wait for a detective to call me. I'm like, what did he charge me with? Because that's my property. The city inspectors told you a month and a half ago that's my property. So you're filing these false reports against me, and you can't do that. It's my property.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a look into that. And Eyes, I don't know if you can, or maybe one of the moderators in the chat, or maybe one of our fine fellow patriots in the chat can pull up the DA's number there for, what is that, Erie County? Erie
Yes.
County, New York.
Yes.
Maybe they could pull up the DA's number and the Buffalo Police Department's number, and let's see if we can get maybe some people to give them a call on Monday and find out what the status is on this dispute and why it's not going the way it lawfully should go.
Hang on, let me see. Yeah, oh, easy copy and paste too. Hang on. All right, so here is the telephone number and information right there, and that came directly from copy. That came from here. Okay, and then let me get the PD's information.
Yeah, this way our subscribers and the people that watch the show, they can call, they can redress their government. It's always the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. And trust me when I say that a lot of times when these guys that watch us, when they call, stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
So
I would really appreciate.
Of course. That's definitely one way that we can hopefully help you. But another way, I think, is to pull the records of these incidents. If they say they have a report on you, then we need to go in there and we need to request any reports that have your name attached to it, and see what we can pull up. And again, like I said, we'll have to look at the public record laws there in New York State.
Yeah, they're a little bit different than ours are. They aren't quite as free with their records as Florida is. Yeah. Florida has a really, really strong records law in favor of the public, to where almost everything is available to public records requests. Like, we can request anything we want, and the government is really, really transparent, or at least they're supposed to be. The way the law is written for Florida is if you go in and request it, no matter what it is, unless it's got very, very specific information inside of it, that would be redacted, like names and addresses or telephone numbers. minors, things of that nature. Those are really the only things that they redact for the most part down here. But up there,
Okay.
it's a little bit different. Their records laws aren't quite as transparent as the laws are here in Florida. I do know that.
Our
So,
laws are pretty tough up here.
yeah, New York's laws are definitely different. And the whole reason is the laws for New York City, they're written for New York City, but they carry over to the entire rest of the state. That's how most of that works and comes about. Like I was looking up Buffalo's city codes for the code inspector, and they don't even run off of their own city codes. It looks like it runs off of the state or the state code. So whatever the state code
I
says,
believe it does.
that's how Buffalo is running off of, unless they have some local ordinance that I can't find yet at this point. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like everything's run off of the state's codes. So
I think they are, because I tried to do some research as well, and I believe it just runs through the state.
yeah.
They don't have like any local, really any local ordinances.
So you're inside the city limits then?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that's why the sheriff's department or the state troopers aren't showing up out there.
Yeah, I tried. I was advised by a few of my friends to try to call the sheriff's office and the state troopers, and both of them told me that neither of them have jurisdiction over Buffalo police, and that I would have to deal directly with the captain, which I've tried. Like I said, he's not, none of them have returned my phone calls. And that's probably going on about 2 weeks now. I've been trying to reach out to them.
Whew.
Yeah, they're quick to take our tax money and slow to provide us service for that money.
Now, I think that the sheriff's department would have jurisdiction over your neighbor, though. They may not have the jurisdiction over the police department, but I think because it's still inside the county of Erie, that these events that are occurring to you are going on, I think they still have the lawful jurisdiction inside of the county to be able to do something, but not per se to the police department. Like they can't, I don't know if it would be, I'm trying to think if it would be the state troopers or if they have a designated unit in New York that would go like Florida. Florida has the Department of Law Enforcement that's supposed to oversee all of the law enforcement agencies inside of Florida. I'm trying to think if New York has that same thing or not. I'll have to look I'll definitely look into more.
The only thing New York has that I'm familiar with is called the Public Integrity Bureau's office, which is through the New York State Attorney General. Whereas if you're not getting anywhere with the police, or if you're not getting anywhere with internal affairs, you can contact the Public Integrity Bureau, and then they would kind of take over whatever your complaint is. I did try to email them, and that was maybe about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything. So I don't know if that department is even still, run up and running, or if they have anybody that is still considered an integrity officer. But I've literally tried everybody. I've called councilmen. I've written, not only me, but some of the people that have seen my story have written to Buffalo City Council. Buffalo City Council said that they would address it at their next meeting, which I don't think they did, because the police have been here plenty of times since then, and still nothing has been happening except for just taking incident reports, and that's it.
Have you pulled the minutes from the city council meeting to see what was put on the agenda and what they discussed? They should have either recorded that meeting, or you should be able to get some sort of documented minutes of that meeting, I think.
I did find something online, but it did not mention anything about my specific situation. I found a few of their rosters online, but that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can look on the Buffalo City website and see if we can find those council meeting minutes. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be in touch with you through email because I want to get the dates and the times of these incidents. And obviously, I see your name. I know your name, so I got your name, but I'll need the dates and the times of the incidents, and then we'll be able to make some record requests based on that information and see what we can get back. Being, journalists from Florida, hopefully it'll,
Right.
give them a little more incentive to get us the information. We'll see. But we can do that, and we can make some calls on Monday. I got Monday off, so I can do that and
Okay.
see if I can get some answers, or see if I can make some requests that way, and see what they have to say, and hopefully we can do an update later and have good news for everybody. For you and for the viewers that. Maybe we were able to help get you a lawyer, or we were able to help, get the city commissioners to help you get this taken care of or something. But, all too often we hear stories just like this. And again, when it's the government that is doing you wrong or not doing you wrong, like in your case, they're just not calling you back. They're just, ignoring you. It's like, who do you go to, Most of the news media agencies, as you know, they don't want to touch anything that's not, already pre-planned or pre-mic'd, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Yeah. We tried reaching out to the news, but they didn't even want to get involved because the fact it's so messy.
I saw the messages. Yeah. Those messages that you posted from, I think it was Channel 8, right? Yep.
We tried all the news stations because, like I said, what do you do when the police aren't helping you? You have nobody else to go to. So I'm supposed to just sit in my house and deal with this until one day this woman snaps and kills me, and then the police want to listen to something. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I don't even know what their basis was for charging me with assault for a self-defense in my own driveway.
Yeah, I think, again, I think that was more to appease that lady than anything else. It's just like, I don't know, you see two people and you see which one is going to, give you the most problems, and you give that one the biggest leeway, like when, they see me come in with a camera versus a guy not with a camera, they're going to try to give me leeway. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm going to be a lot more trouble than this guy over here is. This guy over here is a pushover, So listen, I can tell you this, and that is to document all your interactions with the cameras you have around your home, with your camera on your phone. Just document everything. If you're in public, if you're in in your yard, if you're on your porch, if you're in public, document it, because that right there is going to give you the evidence you need. Every phone that I've had, every smartphone's got an audio recorder app on the phone, and if you don't have one, they're usually free to download off the Play Store, the Android store, the Apple Store, whatever. Definitely get one of those audio recording programs on there. You can start it up. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it in your purse, and it should still catch things. And sometimes they'll catch things that people say that they shouldn't have said. And like I said, as long as you're in public, there's no expectation of privacy, so you don't have to worry about it. Make sure that you're in public somewhere. But yeah, definitely document that stuff, because that's what's going to save you, But yeah, I want to say sorry for the way you're being treated, obviously, but I also want to say thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your story with us. And like
Thank
I said,
you.
we'll do whatever we can to help, and hopefully we'll get a good result out of it. So we're not gonna keep you much longer, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here in just a minute ourselves as well.
We are.
But again, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Does anybody in the chat have any comments for us, Eyes on the State? We can't see the chat, so.
There has been quite a few that have coming up. Let me see. Most of them were about asking for a lawyer and stuff, those kind of things.
Okay, we got her GoFundMe link out there if anybody wants to help this young lady. Try to get a lawyer to try to fight these charges. I know you're a mother, or so I want to make sure that that people know that you're out there and you need help. Lawyers are not cheap.
Not at all.
Yeah, and to have a lawyer for something where it's not even your fault, it's just salt in the wound. So we definitely want to try to get this young lady some help.
Yeah.
With many people, a little can do a lot. So
Let me put that out one more time.
hopefully we can get that done. And
I really would like to thank you for your time today as well. And I do appreciate any assistance that you can help with contacting the police and maybe find out what, like you said, what is going on and any records that you're able to help me get.
Definitely. We'll look into it for sure on Monday.
absolutely. Yeah, that's what we like to do anyway. It's fun time. So I want to again thank you for coming on, and like I said, we'll definitely stay in touch with you. I'll be emailing you, definitely by tomorrow night to get those dates and times, so that way on Monday when I make my calls, I can be ready with the information to request.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much, Rachel. And
Yes,
we'll be talking to you soon.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right, guys. So we saw Rachel's story there. We got all the links up. Eyes, did you put a link up to her YouTube page, or can you put a link up to her YouTube page?
I certainly can, though.
So that way the subscribers and the people watching tonight can go and take a look at some of the videos that we didn't get to, and maybe even re-go over some of those other videos that we saw, so they can get maybe a clearer picture of what she's going through here with this lady in the city of Buffalo.
Let me throw all the links up again to both Facebook and YouTube, because I had them on YouTube before. I think it went on both of them, but I think I got them both up now. Yeah, they're both up now on both channels. So,
all right, great. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank everybody, of course, again for coming out tonight. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching.
Agreed.
Thank you for showing an interest and just stories that that the mainstream media is just overlooking. Everyday stories of everyday Americans going through what we all go through every day. Bureaucracy, red tape, no service, plenty of tax money taken, but no service for that tax money, or we're getting less and less service every day, I guess you could say.
Yep.
So
less quality too.
Right. So I mean, I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of stories like the ones we heard tonight, and we're gonna keep bringing them to you. We're gonna try to keep helping as many people as we can expose this stuff and help them to find some kind of redress, some kind of justice, some kind of fair treatment. So I hope everybody sticks around for the ride. It's gonna be a long one, I'm sure.
Yep.
But it's time to cut loose.
Say good night.
Yep, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. So, guys, Captain Awesome signing off. Eyes on the State. Thanks for having us, buddy. Thanks for hosting.
You're welcome. Definitely, sure thing. Say good night, everybody. Make sure to sub, share, hit that thumbs up button, and we will talk to you guys all very, very soon.
Tuesday night, guys.